Hey, Rob from Morty42 here, and today we're gonna be doing something pretty exciting, at least for me, because I've been waiting to see this for months. That's right. Let's talk about Tenet. Tenet is a film written and directed by Christopher Nolan, the director of the Dark Knight Trilogy, Inception, Dunkirk, and many more. Armed with only one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of the entire world, a protagonist journeys through a twilight world of international espionage on a mission that will unfold in something beyond real time. Now, you may be wondering, Rob, isn't that just the description of the movie off of IMDb? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Tenet is a movie where the spoilers almost don't even matter because any way that you try to explain this concept, it's so dense. It's so dense that even if you let a spoilery moment slip out, there's no way that the person viewing the movie is going to remember that because the confusion sets in almost immediately. I have to say, this is a movie where the first hour of the movie, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on. Am I dumb? Is it just too dense? What's going on? I feel like he intentionally puts you off balance from the beginning. You're constantly going, I don't know what that has to do with this. Okay, you're explaining it, but you're not really explaining it. There's even a line in the movie close to the beginning where he basically says, quit trying to understand it, just feel it. This is Nolan telling the audience, just chill out. I know it doesn't all make sense, but don't worry, it'll click. There's a moment in the movie that when it does click, it's like, okay, this is cool. Tenet is a completely divisive kind of movie, and not like in a Last Jedi kind of way. If one says that they love it and they think it's the best movie of the last 10 years, I can't argue. I can't argue with that. If somebody says it's the most cold experience, the most meaningless, pointless, meandering, self-serving piece of drivel that they've ever seen, I can kind of understand that too. The reason is I feel like Christopher Nolan is trusting the audience with this idea of, I'm going to take you on a journey. And if you're willing to go on that journey with me, don't worry. There's going to be things that don't make sense. And then suddenly it's going to all make sense. Suddenly you're going to start getting it, and it's really going to start coming together. There are going to be people that watch this movie that let's just say they're inattentive viewers. They're people that don't really engage 100% into movies. And when that happens, they're going to be very frustrated with this movie because there's nothing that says, hey, this is the safe place we came from to this safe place we're going to, and things just all work together. This is not like that. It demands your attention. It demands you to engage with it mentally. And some people will find that frustrating, even grating to a point. There are some moments in the movie, technically, I'm sitting there going, I have no clue on how this was done. It's jaw-droppingly amazing how some of these effects were pulled off. A lot of them in camera, it seems. You have to understand, there's going to be some CG involved, but it's seamless. I don't know where the CG starts and where the practical effects end. I don't know. The way that it's done, it's so seamless. It is amazing stuff. I think there's this thought in big budget filmmaking that you have to dumb everything down to make sure that everybody understands what's going on. That can be sometimes that can be frustrating. Sometimes that can be, like, you're just talking down to me here. We're not stupid. But then there's the other way to go, where you demand so much mentally of the audience that it can take them out of the movie. And that can be a dangerous thing. Roger Ebert famously said that a movie isn't what it's about, it's how it's about it. That's something that has always sort of almost plagued me in the way that I look at movies. It's not it can be a movie that's not for you. It's not geared toward you. But as long as the movie works in the way that it's intended to work, then you kind of have to review it in those terms. So, for example, if I'm watching a My Little Pony movie, as long as it works as a My Little Pony movie, it doesn't matter if I like it or not. As long as it works as that kind of movie, then it works. To that end, I feel like, in a way, this movie works exactly the way Christopher Nolan intended it to work. So I kind of have to give it pretty high marks for that. I feel like if you look at Inception left a lot of people very cold because Cobb was the only character really that had any character motivation, had any backstory, any real development at all. The other characters were simply there to move the story along to help Cobb on his journey. Now, if you took Cobb out of that movie, that's sort of what Tenet is like, because all of these characters are simply there to drive the plot along. The only real character in the movie that has any sort of backstory or any sort of, let's just say, emotions is really Elizabeth Debicki's character. She's the only one that has things that she's working toward. There's motivations such as like revenge, or there's pain in her story. You've got Kenneth Branagh as the villain. He's playing it up. He's hamming it up, and he's having a good time with it. But he's just a bad guy. That's really all he is. John David Washington and Robert Pattinson, for the most part, are just the good guys. Robert Pattinson is the suave, good-looking, debonair sort of character. Yes, he does that, and he does it well. John David Washington is Denzel Washington's son. And there are times, if you close your eyes, you can pick up on Denzel's sort of cadence, the way that he speaks. But for the most part, John David Washington is his own man. I mean, he's great with what he's given in this movie. I first saw him in BlacKkKlansman, which he had a lot more range and a lot more to do character-wise. And I have to say, he immediately made me realize that he is someone to watch. He's going to be someone we're going to be watching for a long, long time. Technically, this movie is, as I said, it's just ridiculous. Some of the effects, I don't know how they're done. I haven't watched all of the special features on this yet, but I'm really, really excited to delve into it and to see what tricks I can learn by some of the stuff. Because I mean, it's jaw-droppingly cool. Back when this movie came out in theaters, there was a lot of people that were complaining about audio issues and mix issues where the dialogue was sort of under a lot of the sound effects and even the score at some points. So it kind of made you feel like you're leaning in and you're trying to hear these things. I didn't have this issue, but I was also watching the movie with subtitles. I will say that in some cases, the characters were speaking so quickly and so fast and using, big words that I kind of had to back it up a couple of times just to make sure I got what they said. And of course, that's very frustrating when you're in a movie theater and you're like, I missed it. I don't know. It's one of those things. I know I tend to do this when I'm watching the movie. Sometimes you find yourself like clicking off a little bit, you just kind of disengage for a second because you're thinking about, I wonder if that means this or whatever. And then you're like, oh crap, I missed something. I can understand that. And that probably happens a lot in this movie for a lot of people. So what do I think? What do I think about this movie? There's a part of me that wants to give it almost full marks because of the same reason that I brought up earlier. It's technically amazing. It's a ride. It's Christopher Nolan gave me something I've never seen before. Never experienced this level of just I don't know how that was done. I have no clue. And in 2020, that's kind of amazing. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so many different ways that we can learn about how things are done, and when you can see something and be fooled, that's impressive. The problem is, I'm a character guy. I like to know that the characters I'm going on a journey with are somebody that I can at least understand. You know, even if I don't like them, at least I can understand their motivations and what drives that character. We don't really get that here, especially when the movie ended and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the credits and I'm going, I don't understand why some of this was done. I mean, other than, well, we got to save the world. Okay, but what makes you tick? Is that all you are? Is just the mission? I mean, I had a lot of questions. I would probably say that if you're one of those people that you have infinite patience when it comes to movies, you can put something on and give it a chance, then I would say this is definitely 3 out of 4 stars. If you're one of those people that say, no, if a movie doesn't grab me in the first 5 minutes, I'm out, I would say avoid this at all costs. It's probably a 2 out of 4. But there's also that part of me that says you should at least try to get through it because you're going to see things you've never seen before. And you just might find yourself really, really enjoying the ride. So, what do you think of Tenet? Did you seen it? You gonna rent it? You gonna pick this up? Let me know down in the comment section below and we'll talk about it, because I have a feeling this could be one of those that, you know, we can just be talking about for months. You know, if you like this video, consider hitting that like button. It really does help out the channel. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button because we've got plenty of content on the way. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.